Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 4 of Dead Planet. Say hi, gang.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So glad to be back for the next chapter in this story. For those of you that have been along with us so far, we appreciate it very much. It's just gotten better and better by the session. So let's say hello to everyone that's here with us tonight. Let's start over with Candace. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. CandaceTheMagnificent playing Captain Petunia Petty Williams. It is nice to see everybody tonight for this game. Extremely nervous about what might happen and what the hell's in that box.
Thank you for being here, Candace, as always. Kay, say hello.
Hello. I am Kay Purcell, and I am playing Kai, our, shall we say, resilient, overly protective android who's just a little bit dead right now. So, we're gonna see how that goes.
And the person at fault for that death. Say hi, Jen.
They made me, and they took me out of this world.
Hi, I'm Jen. I play Nyx, who has a lot of explaining to do, so this is gonna be fun.
Looking forward to hearing it. Good to have you, Jen. Warden, Rich, say hello.
Hi, I'm the Warden. As Todd mentioned, my name is Rich. You can also find me under ThatOldDM at the Mothership Discord, where I've been trying to keep people up to date on this amazing game with this incredible cast. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of splaining tonight. A lot of splaining. On many levels.
And I am your host here. I am your host here, Todd Moonbounce. Thank you all for hanging out with us in the Bounce House. Find me, of course, online at ToddMoonbounce. A couple things up front, of course. As you all can see, most of us, other than our android, they are dead. We're all stressed the fuck out. So 20, 19, 18 points each. That's the max. So we're up there. Hopefully we can reduce that here. But you can help us out with things like advantage rolls. So any subscription to the channel will give us an advantage roll. I've got 3 in the hopper right now for us to use. Probably will need them. And then we're also doing that crowd-funded skill advancement. For every, donation towards that, we'll get towards that goal, and all of us will level up to some new skills that will probably come in very handy. So appreciate all that support. And of course, just being here, hanging out with us, sharing the stream with your friends is also just amazing to have as well. So thank you very much. I think with that, Warden, we didn't go to our title screen, so we're going to do that now, and then we'll come back. So thank you, everyone, for being here, and here we go. Okay, Warden, take it away.
Okay, so we pick up a few hours later after a tense workshop business. Kai has been strapped to the table for the last few hours, her HUD flickering on and off incoherently as Lase, Nyx, and Captain Petty attempt to repair and resuscitate the android. There's a lot of mesh tape involved trying to cover up the patched symbols on the chest. But as that mesh tape takes to the body, it seems more and more like it's a glyph, a shape. It might have some burning meaning. And for those Captain Petty and Lase that glimpse the inside of Dr. Sankar's room, the symbol doesn't appear to be random at all. Nyx has done a fantastic job being all business, keeping it together. And as the lights flicker on the HUD, we notice it settles on an eerie yellow color as Kai awakens.
So, in a very creepy way, Kai's eyes have never actually closed. And even if you push the lids closed, they seem to pop back up. And most of you have not seen Kai without their HUD up, and you start to kind of understand that maybe this HUD, while useful, is also put there for humans because Kai is an older model and the eyes are not really there yet. It's almost like looking down the lens of a camera. It does not feel as human, and with the HUD in the way, it helps distract from that. But they don't come too suddenly, they don't come too dramatically. The HUD slowly flickers, the honeycomb shapes snapping into place until it's just suddenly over their eyes. And then with just a bare flick of their vision, they look at Nyx. Are you well?
Am I well? How are you?
Are you harmed?
Just not physically, no. Are you okay? How was that? Sorry.
With that eerie grace that is pure robot, they sit up without any effort, just completely straight backed, and look to Lase and look to the captain, say, are you unharmed?
I mean, for the most part, Hetty just kind of starts to pat herself down. I feel unharmed. I feel fine. Coly, what about you?
I hit my head pretty good. Got a headache.
The creature
Slow,
did not get
but,
you.
No, but yeah, there might be some lingering things, but I think what matters is we're all here in one piece.
Kai suddenly breaks into a large smile and says, good, then I won.
You sure did. And Petty kind of like I just kind of shove my hand at just at Kai, just like and I like try to give like a handshake to just show my appreciation. Kai, you saved the day. I gotta say, I was real impressed. You jumped in there. I've never seen such things like that come from human soldier. I appreciate having you aboard. It was nice having you by my side. I think we can all agree that goddamn saved the day.
Thank you, Captain. It is what I wanted to do. I will not let such things hurt my humans.
How are you doing? You look a little yellow.
Yes, some things are different. Nyx, we must speak on this later. What is the status of the ship?
I'm just glad you're okay.
I am repaired. Thank you. I owe you this twice now.
You don't owe me anything. I owe you. And the ship is the same old dial-up ship it's always been. So there's that.
Got you out of the house.
Yeah, that it did.
Kai, thank you.
Yes. You are welcome.
As the adrenaline begins to fade from your bodies, and you begin to sort of come down from this several hours of work to get the android up and running, you may all reduce your stress. I'm going to roll a d10, and you may take that off of your stress. So we have 4 apiece. So reduce your stress by 4. You are complete. The crew is restored momentarily. And it's almost like the universe gives you a sign of good omen. As you hear for the first time since falling out of jump drive, the computer speaking through the intercom. Engine diagnostics complete. Jump drive offline. Repair procedures prepared. And a terminal nearby flickers to life. Now, Lase, you know this means that the computer reboots that originally started when you were yanked out of hyperspace have now been completed after hours. And maybe there's a real chance you can get those engines working after all.
The resets aren't happening anymore? Or not affecting?
Didn't appear to affect the ship during the last couple hours of repairing Kai, but you're unsure why that would be.
Well, maybe some good news, gang. Might be able to start moving. Let me go take a look at things.
Oh, thank the gods.
Would you like some help?
Why not?
I will look at Nyx and at the captain and say, "Excuse me." Slide off the table, follow Lase.
Make sure you guys give us a call if anything goes sideways. I feel like there's no predicting this place, even on our own ship.
Have we heard from the androids while I have been offline?
Not a word.
Curious. Thank
Not
you.
really sure we were too focused on that.
You could say we were distracted, worried about our friend.
All right, so Lase and Kai exit the workshop, heading towards the engines, leaving Captain Petty and Nyx alone for a moment. However, Nyx, you notice something odd. As soon as Kai and Lase are headed out of the room, Petty immediately moves towards the box and sort of picks it up absentmindedly as she starts to take a step towards the door.
Captain.
Yeah, Doc, what's up?
Do you know what's in that thing? Box?
Yeah, I picked it up. It was in that room. Good thing it didn't go in there. Man, that was a disaster. This box, it seems like it might have belonged to somebody. I don't know. Doesn't seem important. It's just a play inside, like a little book. It's interesting. I was gonna give it a read. Try to, take a load off.
Do you mind if I take a look at the box?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Come on over here. I'll show it to you.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So like I kind of like just set the box down, like on the table, and like I hesitate for a second. Like I don't let go of it. I kind of just pause before I kind of slowly open the lid, and I tell Nyx, "Hey, brace yourself. I was feeling kind of weird when I opened this the first time, and I don't want you to have the same problem. So just take her easy, okay?"
Oh, yeah, sure.
Nyx, as your eyes take in the box, you haven't seen it in years, but you are, of course, familiar with its importance to Dr. Sankar. Your hand sort of runs across the top of it as Petty opens the lid. And you know his most treasured possessions are going to be in there. The books, the knowledge that fueled his mind in all waking moments when he wasn't dedicated to a task. And inside that lid, as it opens, you see the etchings that you were afraid were going to be there. Carcosa, 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 Carcosa. Carved into the lid over and over and over again. Not the sign of a rational individual. What's your reaction?
She, after what she's been through already this past few hours, she is kind of just pauses, and she thinks to herself, trying not to let Petty see her face because she doesn't want Petty to read anything on their face. So she kind of like turns away from Petty a little bit more so that her body's kind of like more facing the box and like is like kind of like looking over everything and just starts shaking her head and she's like, that damn fool, under her breath, and starts kind of backs away a little bit and then looks at Captain and she goes, is there Carcosa? I know that it's, what is it really?
Yeah, I don't quite know. As she kind of asks me this, like my head starts to get a little foggy and my vision gets a little hazy and I start kind of having like little flashbacks to like the first moment that I encountered the box and like those kind of like visions that I saw. And like I reach my hand out and I start kind of stroking like the outlines of the etchings in the lid of the box. And just absentmindedly. And I say, you know, I feel like maybe it's a place. Maybe it's a place we're supposed to find. I don't know.
Whatever it is. Doesn't look like I really want to find it.
No? What if it's peaceful there?
I mean, everything that we've run into. I mean, look at this box. Look at these etchings. Like, look at this madness. Like, why? How could this? I knew he was going to get himself into some sort of trouble.
I kind of like notice that she's kind of like turned away. And like I kind of touch her shoulder and I'm like, hey, is everything all right, Doc? I know you had like a relationship with this doctor, right? You had a mentorship with him, right?
I thought, yeah, I mean, until he started going into places that one should never go.
Oh, you got rules, huh? You got hard lines in the sand?
I mean, I think everybody does to a certain point. It's just where that line is changes, doesn't it?
I suppose so.
Let's just say I didn't necessarily agree with, I agreed with his teachings when I first ran into him, but then when he started talking about things to do with AI that no one should ever talk about, or at least not to the point where you would go on basically a suicide mission just to see if you were right. Like, it just, I couldn't, but I wasn't ready to let him go either.
I can understand that. Diverging paths. I'm sure he would have been proud of what you did with Kai, though. That's an amazing android.
You would think, wouldn't you? Yeah. You would think that. He wouldn't have necessarily agreed with the lengths I had to go through to keep Kai. We also kind of differed a lot on certain aspects of what it meant to have like sustainable robots or a good relationship with them, or what that means, you know? So I feel like I eventually just outgrew his teachings, but the man was the type of genius that, shit, I'm saying was already. That's not good.
It's okay. You're just trying to accept reality. There's nothing wrong with that. We're in quite a state ourselves. It seems like maybe truth is kind of what we all need to be hinged on here.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's just say I hope that he didn't make those androids, and I hope that none of his teachings ever get in the wrong hands.
Can you make anything out of these papers? Learn anything from that? I don't know. Every time I see this Carcosa, it like pulls me to that thing in the hatch. I can't get it out of my head.
I swear to God, if he created that thing, I am going to bring him back from the dead so I can murder him again myself.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'll look through and see what I can find. I'll report back when I have anything for you.
Thanks, Doc. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, all right? I see you looking a little rough around the edges.
Well, I'm hoping this new hair color will help fix that.
It looks nice.
Thanks.
Petty kind of just like shuts the box and like pauses for a second before just like walking and getting like something to drink and just trying to get away from it for a second, get a breather.
Perfect. So we'll cut to the engine room. Door slides open. Nyx Coly walks in first, followed closely by Kai.
Well, still fucking broke.
These things rarely repair themselves.
Doesn't look worse though.
That is good.
So as you flick through the diagnostic information, Lase, on the computer terminal, it's becoming pretty clear that there is a way to sort of force the engines to go into a burn mode, but you won't be able to control them from the bridge. You have to fire them from here. Someone else on the bridge coordinating, but that means you could get a lot closer to the moon and do some scans.
Not ideal situation here, Kai, but I think there's some workarounds we can put in place and get us moving.
When have we ever waited for ideal circumstances?
Ain't that the truth?
Lase, will Nyx be all right? I told her not to go first or last. She did not listen.
You should know by now that she can be a bit stubborn.
Yes, it is quite frustrating.
But I think you'd also know by now that she'll be fine. Got you. I sure as hell is gonna be by her side as long as I can. I think she's coming around to the captain, so...
Yes, they initiated a courtship dance early on. Do you believe they will continue it?
Maybe. But I think, yeah, she'll be fine.
Then let us fix the ship so that we can keep you all fine.
It takes you about 30 minutes of mesh tape and elbow grease. But the two of you get the engines ready to fire. Now all that remains is to let the captain know, pick a direction, get her sailing. However, there's the matter of the Alexis, currently coupled to your ship, to decide. So Captain Petty, what's your plan?
I have a really bad feeling about that object on the ship. At this point, it kind of is occupying my thoughts. And it feels important to try to like get out of this orbit and maybe head down to the planet to figure out why we can't leave. Now that the engines are firing, I just don't know how dangerous it would be for us to just try to leave without handling this situation first. So I'd probably go to my crew and just double check that we're all on the same page and kind of communicate my feelings to them.
Okay, so you call a meeting on the bridge, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
Everyone's
I gather
assembled?
everybody. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Take it away.
So everybody, we've come to quite the juncture in our journey here, and apparently Lase and Kai here were able to get this going, and our engines are firing, and looks like we might be able to get out of here, but I know we still don't have the coils we need, and we still are in this weird, I don't know, stasis? I don't know what you'd call it, Doc, Kai. You guys have terms for these kinds of things, but it feels like we can't move from this spot.
I believe a more technical term would be a dark matter hellhole.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. Thank you, Kai.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
think
limbo, but
I'm wondering if that thing on the Alexis, that statue, that thing seems to be just oozing with dark matter and dark energy. You think maybe we need to like get it back on its homeworld, or maybe the key lies somewhere in there? I keep seeing it. I just can't get it out of my
I think
head.
we've had enough fun with
I
that
would
ship.
advise to not bring it anywhere near us ever again.
Let's
All right.
detach and
I would
Did
like
ado.
to ensure that it will never invade another android again.
I mean, I think if it's just kind of sitting there, it was no problem for us to find the Alexis. What about the next ship that comes along?
Kai will motion to all of the graveyard of ships around. I do not believe this is an accident. Something is bringing ships here.
Yeah.
Do we destroy it? Does this dial-up of a ship even have the capabilities to do something like that?
I mean, I don't know that it's got like serious weapons. This whole thing was just supposed to be a cargo trip.
You're telling me we're on a ship in the middle of space with no weapons?
It's got to have something.
Yeah,
Let me
I
take
would
a
hope
look.
so, because we are carting cargo here, and I can't imagine the space pirates, you know,
Doc, no one's trying to steal cadavers.
you never know.
someone's paying for them.
We are also not advertising that our ship is filled with death.
I also
That's
want to
true.
say that I don't want to introduce any sort of reaction to trying to blast this fucking statue
If it calls
to
more of them.
pieces.
So you guys think we should just leave it alone? Just try to get out of here?
I
See if we
would
can-
like to, yes.
Break orbit?
We can think about it over that sweet dry red wine of yours, Petty.
I would
Yeah,
at
all right,
least like
Coly.
to communicate with the androids one last time.
That was my one concern, Kai. Are you gonna be okay if we leave him? I know that's a little rough for you, a little hard to
Technically,
deal with.
one we have to leave. We can't. I don't have time to detach them from a ship.
I understand we can't go back for him. I'm just saying, I know that they've made some connections, and Kai has become more than just an android to me, and I imagine they're more than just androids to them.
We may be able to download their data.
We have, with our best intentions, done something evil to them.
Evil.
Sometimes I regret putting free will into you. Okay, well, we'll download their data and we can see if we can find bodies equipped enough we can remake them.
Weren't
Given they consent, of course.
I feel like everyone was all on the fence of these two, and
I'm still on the fence. I just trust Kai.
I am making no moral judgments about them, but it seems wrong to give someone the ability to remember being tortured every 45 minutes, indefinitely.
can you take that away?
Can undo what I
Electromagnetic pulse?
Yes. But the only thing that undoing what I did without trying to rebuild them, it'll still keep happening to them. They're just not going to remember.
I'm just not too crazy about bringing in, even if it's digital information, into our systems here.
I am unsure if it is possible, but I would potentially like to speak with Krynot without pander. I may have something for them.
Anything you need, Kai?
Thank
Take care
you.
of business.
And
All
Warden and I have been processing that thing which we spoke about in the background. Do I need to do any rolls to see if that is a success or yes, no?
You're ready to deliver it. The question is,
Can I?
what's going to happen when you do?
All right.
So we'll save the roll for that dramatic moment. Okay, so do we want to open up communications to the Alexis and find out what happened to these fantastic synthetics?
I mean, I don't, but
Yes.
I appreciate your sacrificing for me, Lase.
It takes a few moments before there's any response. But eventually, Cranot's somewhat broken voice, more staticky and mangled than before, comes through. Just leave us, please. Just go.
Are you in pain or simply not in a position where you may speak?
The command center was breached by the creatures. There appear to be 4 of them now. Pander no longer operates.
I am sorry we could not stop them. We tried, but it was a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, yes.
Cranot, I would not offer this to Pander, but you have rebuilt your programming floor so many times. I would like to pose you a question.
The query is open.
Would you not consider yourself your own programmer at this point, having created your own floor so many times?
A self-made being. A beautiful thought. But the tools available to me, the materials available to me, replaced by others, with limitations. No. I am a slave.
Would you like to be free? Even if only for a short while. I can give you a tool.
It would give me something to ponder in the void of space. You may transmit when ready.
And Kai is going to look at Nyx with a very loaded expression for an android, which Kai is not terribly expressive, but Nyx, I feel, would understand that, like, do we do it now or do we wait? Because even Kai doesn't know what's going to happen.
The sooner we can get this over with, the better.
Kai will nod and step up to one of the ports instead and start keying in, and then directly interface with the computer and transmit a backup copy file which they have created of their free will and send it to Cranot.
Okay. Cranot begins processing that. It'll take some time.
We are going to attempt to decouple. Again, I apologize. Our presence was not a helpful one for you.
Give us a sanity save there, Kai.
That is a 17 of 33. Pass.
Okay. So you feel, maybe for the first time, that you're taking the step to create something, to have impact, to have influence in the world. And that gives you gives you a lot of value to yourself. So go ahead and recover another 2 stress. Not that Kai really needed to recover too much stress, but hey, every little bit helps.
One of us has to stay non-panicked.
Kai, what's your minimum?
My minimum is still 2, yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Kai will turn to Nyx and kind of look at them with kind of understanding and be like,
I believe I understand you just a little better now. Thank you.
Nyx just nods because they don't know what to say right now.
All right, Captain. So you have a couple of options. You can just decouple, or you can attempt 0G walk over there with some charges to blow open the outside door of that cargo hold, suck that artifact out into space, and then decouple.
So I've spoken to my crew, and I feel like I've endangered them too much on this trip so far. Definitely not on purpose, but it still happened. It's really hard to tear myself away from this like growing obsession with this artifact, but in an effort to try and like keep the peace within my ship, I just go for like trying to get us out of there as quickly as possible to just keep everybody calm. And I know I can handle it if it starts to like really bother me.
So it looks like the phobia of losing your crew is winning out, especially in the wake of the return of Kai.
Big time. And I imagine that was an open channel, right? That they were discussing with the other ship, with the Alexis.
I gave you no warning, but you
Yeah.
overheard all of it, yes.
Okay, so then like I now know there's 4 creatures instead of just the one big one. There's like 4 of them now, and I feel like it would just be asking for trouble to try to like blow open the back of that hatch. But like every moment that ticks by, like I just keep thinking about it, and I try to like kind of shove it down into the back of my subconscious.
Perfect. Give me a sanity check as well, Captain Petty, as you try to deal with the stress and your phobia.
That is a 76 out of 26.
Okay. So definitely the fear is overpower the obsession in this case.
Yeah.
If it helps
All right.
explain anything, Kai would be very happy to do the 0G walk and blow that thing open.
Not necessary, unless we have to. Warden, point of stress for Captain there.
Yep.
Okay.
Point of stress. Okay, so thank you, Todd. So with that being said, all you've got to do is decouple. And then if you want to take a shot at the engines or the door, you do have a few missiles, but you won't be able to reload those tubes if you expend them.
Let's just let's get a move on. As long as this thing detaches, you know, just like a couple of chipmunks driving a car there, Captain. I'll be down below in the pedals, you be up top in the wheel, and tell me to go or stop. Point us in the right direction.
Let's do this. I'm ready.
Perfect. Kai, when you give me a moment, I need that check on the Cranot component. But we're not going to roll for the engines or the piloting. I mean, we're just decoupling. It's very routine, and the engines will work for now. So it'll be a continuous burn for the next 2 hours to get you to the planet or to the moon.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure what role you needed from me.
Let's do intellect plus. I'll let you call it. What skill you want to lean into?
At this point, I don't think it matters because it's a 51 it's a 67 out of a 51 that I need, and I've only got a plus 10 from other things, so.
Okay. All right. So as the ship decouples, the engines begin to burn, and you're making headway for the first time since being ripped out of hyperspace. An encrypted message pings the ship about an hour later. Has Kai's name on it.
I
Who's on the
flag Kai
bridge?
to the bridge and show them this message. Like, hey, someone's trying to hail you or something.
Strange.
I don't like this.
It's pretty clear from the encryption that it came from the Alexis. And it was probably Kraynot.
I open the message.
Fantastic. So the message is a rant, almost garbled, jumping between languages. The ranting of somebody who's completely lost their mind, making no sense. In fact, you're not even really sure why it's encrypted. But it's the last line is clearly the dead planet is your destination. Clearly, all the answers are there. There must be a gate. It is the center of the spiral of dark matter. Sankar knew it. Now I know it. And I hope you don't find Nelfi down there. That's the first reference to the third android that they've made by name. And then the message ends.
It seems I may have done more than one evil, but I tried. Nyx, I hope you know that you are truly incredible. I was unable to do what you did.
What do you mean?
I attempted to give Kraynot a mind of its own,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I broke it.
I wouldn't beat yourself up over that.
That would not be very conductive. I do not know
it's
why.
a saying. It's a saying. Sorry.
I understand.
Yeah. Like, don't. It's not your fault.
They did at least provide us with some perhaps useful information, and the name of that third android, which they banished to the surface, which is apparently the center of the dark matter. So we are going the right way, but I do not believe we will like it.
Alright.
Also, Nyx, at another time, I would like you to examine something with me.
Yeah. Anything you need? Why? What's going on? You okay?
I believe there is some information about myself hidden within my kukri. I am not sure I have experienced fear the way you do, but I might be afraid, and I would like, I believe you call it moral support.
In the kukri?
There is a note, I believe.
Oh yeah, yep. Let's do that checkup. Let's do that soon. Yeah, sooner probably than later might be a good idea.
You got an hour until you reach the planet or to the moon. So, do you want to do it now?
The survival of the ship and the crew is of the utmost importance. I would not want this to distract.
Now I'm distracted. I'm already distracted. It's already done.
I am sorry.
No, it's
That
fine.
was not my intention.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's just now, if we don't do it now, I'm just going to be thinking about doing it. And we know what happens when I hyper focus on something and can't stop thinking about that.
Yes, you spiral.
Yeah, we don't want that. So how
No.
about we just run a quick thing now, and I'll take out my scanner, my diagnostic scanner or whatever, and start.
It is not that.
No.
Kai will look and check and make sure that Captain and Lase are focused on piloting, because
Still in the engines this whole
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
Could we go to your quarters?
Yes.
I will meet you there.
Okay.
And Kai will go and collect the pieces of their broken kukri.
Nyx is very confused right now.
Perfect. Let's pause that for just a second. So, Lase, you, what are you doing to occupy your time? Obviously, you got to make sure the engines continue to function while you're down there, but are you doing anything to try to relieve a little stress?
Oh, I don't know. Back here, probably not. Just trying to stay focused on the task and get us to just keeping things humming.
Okay. Petty, ship's in motion. What are you doing?
I'm kind of just staring out of the just out of the window in front of the ship. I'm flying the way that, you know, I always do, but I feel like I'm just not fully like focused. Like I'm trying to get my crew away, I'm trying to get us to safety, but like the thoughts at the back of my mind are just like creeping slowly and like very closer. They're creeping closer and closer to like the foreground of my thoughts. And I can't like just get that like song, that rhyme out of my head. Like I keep kind of echoing back and thinking about the shores of Carcosa, and like I keep seeing, like I feel the texture of the words carved into the top of the box under my fingertips, like as I'm steering. Like it's all I can think about. But then it's kind of intercut with like moments with my crew. So like, you know, like Nyx blushing and like Kai being like a champion, you know, like soaring through the air to like protect all of us, and like me and Lase just hanging out and enjoying a smoke together, and like I'm able to kind of snap back, you know, to the present, but it's a war inside my head.
All right, Captain. I'll let you take a comfort roll for that. So roll a D100. You're looking for a 60 or less.
53.
53, very nice. So 5 points of stress.
Whew.
That's pretty much the maximum you could get again. Come off of you. I will give you the option of 5 additional stress to one of your crew members. But you have to decide who, and you have to decide how you're going to, you know, basically spread your leadership into them. So I'll give you a minute to think about that as we cut back to Nyx and Kai. All right, so Nyx's quarters. So we cut to Nyx's quarters. Nyx is pacing back and forth, listening to music. As the door slides open, Kai comes in with the kukri in their hands. Kai, please explain to Nyx what you theorize.
You are holding an actual kukri.
Yes, the one that you found beside
I
me.
was not expecting that. Okay.
I wish for you to sit down before we speak.
It's one of these tucks. Okay.
Either I am correct and this will be very interesting, or I am very damaged. I found a drawing of this kukri in your mentor's room.
I'm sorry, you found what?
This exact kukri, which is currently in 2 pieces, it was broken in an earlier fight. This exact
By the Nyx.
Nyx keeps breaking my stuff and me.
Sorry.
She made me. She can take me out of this world. I understand. This exact kukri was sketched on your mentor's wall. While I was under repairs, I had a vision of a piece of paper inside it, which gave me information. Somehow, I know there is parchment in here which will provide information. Or I am hallucinating.
You're probably not hallucinating. If it was him, it makes sense that the question is, how did it end up with you if it has anything to do with him?
I have tried to not ask this of you, as I trust you. But where did you find me?
So we were on an expedition that I just happened to tag along at. And on that expedition, I told you that my mentor towed the line a little bit in that expression. So what that means is that he did good things, but not always in great ways.
Ah.
So we're on this, go ahead.
The ends justified his means.
To him, they might have. I had expressed how cool it would be to be able to build a robot, you know, and we were on an expedition, and I kind of wandered off.
As you are wont to do. I will remind you, I did ask you not to go first or last. And I will not yell at you about this further.
Thank you. Lesson learned. I am not good with... Anyway, I wandered off. And I stumbled upon you. However, you were not attached to any ships. You were very much... There were parts of you that weren't there.
Was I functioning?
No. Not that I'm aware of. Unless there's, you know, we're still uncovering a lot of stuff. So, not that I'm aware of. But the Kukri was with you. And I didn't tell anybody. Because I didn't want anybody else to know that you were there. So I went back later. I don't know, I just had a feeling that handing you over to everybody else I was with just would not be good. And I didn't want that for you for some reason. So I went back later and picked you up on the side.
And your mentor was there for this?
He was there for the expedition. He did not know I found you or that you existed. All I told him was that I wanted to be able to eventually make an android of myself, for myself, by myself. And he taught me a lot of ways to be able to get things that maybe it's just better if you don't know how I got things.
Well, you know I would never judge you. And I do thank you for creating me.
Of course.
But I feel we are about to learn quite a lot about who I was. What I was. Before you.
Makes me wonder if that's why we were there. They were looking for you. If that Kukri was in his office, maybe you were what they were looking for somehow. I'm not really sure. But now I feel like he's tied more into my life than I would like him to be, and I'm very upset about that at the moment.
More or less upset now that he is dead.
Yet to be seen.
That may have been an insensitive question.
It's okay.
Apologies if so.
Nyx, give me a sanity check.
Okay.
Save. T100. Add AI to it.
Okay. 49?
Yep,
Add
49.
AI to it.
Yeah, you're fine. So you succeeded. Great. So 49 with a target of 62, I think, or 67.
Yeah,
67.
60. Where's my? Sorry, my thing's like.
You got a base 52, a base of sanity of 52.
For sanity, yeah, it's 52. My base is actually pretty decent.
We're so much more sane than your creation.
I'm also way more sane than my ability to combat.
That's why when the scientist
15.
loses their shit, sanity-wise, it's a big deal.
Bad. It is not good.
Okay.
So my AI is 20, so it would be over 72.
Your emotion, you go through an emotional roller coaster here, as you are immediately irritated and upset that Sankar could possibly know all this information about you. Yet the more you think about him and the things that he knew and the access to information he had among the orbitals, among the space stations, among the corporations back around Earth, the more likely it could be that perhaps none of the components you were able to get for Kai ever were your own doing. It's almost like perhaps he laid it all out for you in a strange way.
She is so angry.
You're so angry, but now a bunch of things that didn't make sense are suddenly making sense to you. So you can reduce 6 stress as you take some comfort in the fact that the universe is not a random chaotic element, but perhaps the machinations of incredibly powerful and intelligent people. And with that, Kai attempts to dismantle the kukri based on the designs that she saw in her own mind. And the kukri does disassemble, revealing a narrow metal tube filled with a scroll of parchment on the inside. Kai, what do you do with the tube? Do you want to open it or do you want Nyx to open it?
I've definitely watched Nyx go through an emotional roller coaster that I recognize there's an emotional roller coaster happening, but I am incapable of understanding what all exactly is going on with that. So I kind of like look at it and look at Nyx with like a questioning, like, are you okay? Do I do this? Do you do this? But like, there's an almost antsiness to their quick, short movements. They're excited. They're not going to be holding back much longer.
I'll do it.
Hand it over.
So you slip the paper out of the tube and unfurl it. And you can tell it's the ship's communication, handwritten by a Captain Dashiell Chandler of the colony ship, the Perennial Tyrant. But the top's the part that really gets to you. Because the designation of the android the message was delivered to is XM6S6MX, which could be Kai's actual real name and designation. No more unknowns, no more confusion. But the piece of paper floats out of your hand and towards the table as you look at the message that's written in between the to and from sections. Reach Earth. Warn them. Bring no one back here. The colony is lost.
Well, we didn't get this message in time, that's for sure. I think here, and she just hands it to Kai. You definitely need to read this, and I will be here if you have any questions, although I don't know if I can answer them.
So Kai is going to read this and their HUD just starts. Could I search and see what like the time frame, specifications, jobs of this model of android was?
Yes. And you start doing that research and starting to pull archives and run into one redacted file after another. And a clue that it was an experimental model assigned to a colony vessel, the Perennial Tyrant, that was lost 16 years ago. And with that, we're going to smash cut back to the bridge, because we got to keep the action moving. Captain Petty, the moon is growing bigger and bigger in front of you. You start to see indicators on your dash. You're within scanner range. Time to get everyone back on the bridge.
Before I do that, like as I'm kind of like, 'cause you'd asked me to think about like who I wanted to kind of give that respite to. While Nyx is kind of off with Kai and they're having their personal conversation, I kind of like dial in a direct line to Lase, and I say, "Hey, Coly, I know it's been a real mind fuck of a day. What do you want to talk about? Pretty girls or stupid jokes?"
Oh, I don't know. Give me something with both.
So I proceed to tell Lase like a really long and super involved, disgusting joke, like a real dirty joke that just like would burn the hairs off of his eyebrows. And I kind of finish it like to make him laugh, like just before like Nyx and Kai walk back in. I'm like, the Aristocats, huh? Aristocrats. What do you think of that? It's good, right? Huh?
Oh, I hope you don't suck at making wine as much as you do telling a joke, Petty.
Listen, that's a classic Earth
That shit
joke.
is foul.
I'll have you know, it's classic Earth joke. You feel better now, though, don't you? You feel great.
No, I'm not sure I do.
Sure, yeah. Well, you know, you just think about it. 2-3 hours from now, you're gonna be like, Captain, that was a good one. Just don't tell Nyx. She's not gonna like that.
I guess the pain from this has overshadowed any other pain I'm feeling, so I'll give you that much.
Yeah, good. It's like when you're hurt and somebody punches you.
5 stress, Nyx Coly. You may reduce 5 stress due to the fantastic leadership of Captain Petunia Watkins. Okay. All right. As you're getting closer to the moon, again, so everyone's on the bridge except for Lase. Actually, Lase can come up at this point. The engines are done. They're cooling. You guys have all reached the bridge as you can see the moon in front of you.
Kai steps in and stands too close to Captain Petty.
Perfect.
Captain Petty is perfectly fine with them in her peripherals. Captain Petty's just like soldiering on.
The size of the moon is roughly similar to Earth's moon, and it is tide locked around the planet. The initial scans show that it's primarily barren, but obviously littered with wrecks. There are shipwrecks scattered all over the surface of this moon. However, in the northern hemisphere, it does appear that there's flickering signs of life. And you could steer the ship in closer to get a better read on them.
I will start scans as soon as we are anywhere within range.
We might as well check it out. I mean, what harm could come? Maybe it's got an answer to the weird shit going on around here.
I'd say the weird shit's gonna be that harm. But I don't think we got anywhere else to go.
Fantastic. As you close in the distance, the scans are able to bring up a small section, 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer section of the moon in gross detail. And there are 2 very large bodies of wreckage near each other in this section. One of them is clearly part of a colony vessel. The other, which is where the life signs are, is a large pile of ship scraps that have been assembled together. And flickering within there is some life signs.
And I assume they are carbon-based, unlike the other life signs I have forced into some of our scanners.
These could very well be human.
Got ourselves old shantytown down there.
How
Kai
are they
gives
surviving in all this?
a very meaningful look to Nyx.
Thought I was lost.
It is
You gotta hail him,
colony
yeah?
ship.
Hmm?
Can we see any paint designation identification?
You're too far away for that right now, but you're getting closer and closer. No radio signals, no satellites, no real power signatures necessarily. Something's flickering, something's keeping them alive in that scrap pile. But the
Roughly-
wreck,
You two telling secrets over there?
Always.
You know what's going on down here?
Nope. Not any more than you do. Definitely going back and forth between whether we should stop at anywhere else right now. But
I don't know if we have a choice.
Roughly how many life signs do we see?
less than a
Can we
dozen.
tell?
It's not going to be more than a dozen bodies.
I hail them. Like as
No
we
radio.
near.
Okay, so you like send out a broadcast signal. Again, you're not receiving anything, but you send something out. What do you send out?
I say, hello out there. We don't know if you have an SOS or if you're just sitting pretty, but we're passing by. Wanted to know if y'all needed any help. This is the Solus reporting. I'm Captain Petty. Hello?
There's a massive spike of energy that comes from the area around the scrap pile. And almost an exploding cloud of dust as something leaves the surface, heading for you at ridiculously quick speed. Petty, make a panic check.
Oh, God.
Oh,
18.
in the clear.
Hmm.
In the clear. So it becomes very, very obvious very quickly that a massive harpoon has been shot from the surface of the moon and is heading straight towards your ship. You better change course
Yeah.
before that thing hits you.
Can we bank? Like, can I, like, steer to the
Yes,
left, maybe?
Let's steer your cargo freighter without its engines running. Lase,
Just,
you might want to go running to the
Yeah,
engines.
I'm gonna take off.
Lase.
Everybody brace yourselves. We gotta get out of this.
I am going to see if there's anything I can do to reroute any power to assist Lase.
I'm gonna hide under a desk.
I'm going to also ensure that Nyx does not have any firearms on hand.
Interesting. All right, Petty, let's get a military training. What do you want to use? Intellect, or you want to use speed? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I feel like speed because of reflexes. So I have a 32 speed plus 10 for military training since I'm good on the spot. That is a 49, and I have a 42 as my target.
So without those engines online, you're not going to be able to move it. That harpoon is headed straight towards you. You slam on the intercom, yelling at Nyx Coly.
Yeah, Coly, I can't budge her.
I'm getting there.
All right, you come scattering down the ladder into the engine room.
Can I use mathematics to assist him in how to best move the ship to avoid this? Maybe a narrow avoidance.
Yeah, let's get a mathematics roll, see if we can get advantage to Nyx Coly there.
Well, I rolled that with strength, which I should have done it with intellect.
98,
Sorry.
still a fail.
Yeah.
Still a fail.
Still a
No,
fail.
So you start spouting equations, logistics,
And I
geometric
forget that he
patterns.
is not very good at this. He could not recognize pi.
Lase, you want to jury rig these engines hot and quick, or you want a mechanical repair and try and bring them on the correct way?
Yeah, I think I'll jury rig them. And with that, I'm going to argue for speed because I got a bump on my head and intellect's all at disadvantage.
Okay. Go for it.
Speed 52. Failure.
Okay. So the engines are coming online quickly, very hot. Petty makes you can make another adjustment here. Go for it.
As we are growing closer, can I yet see any designation of the ship?
So you bring up the scanners, and you're looking at that colony ship, the wreck of that colony ship, and it's very clearly the perennial tyrant. You were here already once.
I will wait to see what the captain and Lase do next. But I have something I might try.
Captain, would you give me a second? I'm still trying to get this shit connected. You're using all my juice before I get it out.
We got negative 10 minutes.
Give me
Seconds even, Coly.
Give me another
Seconds
negative
even.
10 more.
We're fucked.
Ben
So
fucked.
You got a lovely 73 there, Captain
Warden,
Petty.
Can I use an advantage roll to do a second roll?
Sure.
Thanks. I'm shooting for
What's your
42.
42?
42.
65.
That is not going to be good enough.
No, it is not.
Okay. With that, brace for impact as the harpoon slams into the cargo area of the Solus and begins dragging you down towards the surface.
As it impacts, Kai is going to Star Trek shake their way over to the intercoms and say, "Perennial tyrant, please cease your assault."
Nyx pops out from under the what?
Let me get stress checks out of both. Oh, no, just Nyx. Let's just do Nyx.
Just me.
D20.
Four.
And your stress is?
8.
Thank you.
8. So that is a panic.
Nyx, you are overwhelmed. All actions are at disadvantage for 1 die 10 minutes and permanently raise your minimum stress by 1 point.
Okay.
So, with that, Nyx almost spins out of control to the ground. It feels like everything is just spinning. As you realize, maybe there is an order to the universe. And maybe you're just following a script. And with that, I think we'll go to break.
Fantastic.
This is all fine.
Freaking out. Nyx isn't just having an existential panic in the middle of space. It's all good.
Oh my god.
It's definitely a little more slow burn True Detective tonight, but I think we're getting some juicy shit right now.
I am very excited. I don't know about the rest of you.
I mean,
All right,
I'm
everybody.
excited, but in that barf way, you know.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here with us. And go take a quick break with us. We'll be back in 10 minutes, about 25 after the hour. And we will continue this fantastic story and see where it goes. So, see
Thank you for
all
watching.
very soon. welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking out, and get ready for, I'm sure, an exciting second half. Warden, take it away.
All right. We pick up as the Solus is drifting very quickly down towards the moon's surface. The harpoon has dislodged from the cargo area, and we can see a few body bags falling out of the cargo hold and incinerating into the air. And the ship is in a controlled crash. Captain Petty, you not doing so well there on your check that we ended with.
Nope.
So do you have a preference? Do you want to aim towards the scrap heap, which is where the harpoon came from, or do you want to aim towards the wreck of the Tyrant itself?
Ooh. Well, I don't really know anything about the Tyrant, and I know that the wreck is trying to harpoon me, so I'm gonna go ahead with the Tyrant.
Okay. So, as the ship heads in to the surface of the moon, crashing across the ground, you see rocks and debris going in all directions as the ship comes to a landing about 1 kilometer away from the wreck of the colonial ship that was once known as the Perennial Tyrant. Everybody give me a body save to avoid damage. And I will resolve these in the order that they come up. So, Captain 45, what's your target body save? You can add military
30.
training to that.
I can. Oh, so 40, still not any better.
Still not any better. All right. And then next we have Lase Coly with an 81.
I'm gonna, I meant to mention this when we came out of break. Flying Tick subscribed, so we added one to our advantage rolls, and I'm gonna burn that right away and re-roll, because an 81 is not good.
Thanks, Flying Tick.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
And a 98, even fucking worse.
Even worse.
You were just meant to take that L.
All right, Petty takes 7 points of damage as you're thrown from the helm of the ship. Lase Coly takes 10 points of damage. Does that push you through your first wound?
Oh, I already have a wound.
Okay.
That's gonna put me 8 points away from my final wound.
Okay. And Petty, how did you fare? Did
So
you cross
I only have 4 health, so I'm crossing that threshold to take my damage.
So you only take the 4, and then roll a d10 on the wounds table for. There's one for blunt trauma, I believe it is.
6.
Yeah, they're blunt force trauma. 6. Snapped collarbone.
Great.
So Petty screams as they hit the front of the ship, the bridge of the ship, cracking the LED screen in front of you. Your collarbone snapping. And Kai got a 10. So Kai just holds themselves very easily against the wall, as if nothing's happening. Very simply. And then Nyx. That is a fail. 6 points of damage to you. Does that clear you into your first wound, or are you still under the threshold if you check those boxes?
That brings me down to 2 health, so I'm pretty sure that's.
Nope, you gotta clear all of those in order to get to the first wound. So you're almost there. It's just bruised and battered as you steady yourself. The ship comes to a rest, and you can see out of the view screen 1 kilometer ahead, the wreck of the colonial ship. What do you do?
First, I would like
What the
to
hell's
move.
going on up there?
I would like to move to try and help repair Captain Petty's collarbone.
Hello?
It appears
Petty?
they are aggressive.
Yeah, fuck. Some turbulence. Rough landing.
Oh, shit.
I think I popped my collarbone. It's pretty nasty.
Is that a 99?
That is a 99.
Can you get another roll on that blunt force table, please?
For me?
Yep.
Oh god.
D10.
Oh.
D10.
An 8.
What do we got?
Skull crack.
So, Kai reaches out to reset the bone, putting one hand on your head, the other attempting to adjust your shoulder, pop everything back into place.
This will likely hurt.
And there is a terrifying scream. So you can take 3 wounds, correct, Petty?
Yes, I can.
All right. So you have 1 left.
Great.
As your skull cracks under the weight of the powerful android. So what's the effect of that?
I'm kind of sitting there and I'm already a little bit in a daze and I'm just trying to keep my wits about me. I've had worse in the field. So I'm kind of just like, it's tender and I feel a little like rattled. But I trust Kai and I kind of just sit there and I hold. And as I feel like their fingers just like digging into my skull, like all I'm focusing on is the yellow in their visor. And like my vision is just like throbbing like this intense like yellow over and over and over again. And I'm kind of like seeing like past their visor and like into like the darkness of their eyes as like I'm getting this like blinding pain combined with like this yellow strobe like across my eyesight.
And what's looking back at you is that glyph in mesh tape on Kai's chest, where the nails laid a pattern, impossibly not random pattern. A pattern has to mean something. A pattern that has to lead to a clue. It can't just be terror. It can't just be random chaos. Someone's communicating to you. Someone's calling to you.
I think I whisper, "The king, he rises."
And
Kai-
between hearing the crack and the king, he rises, Kai will like suddenly like, this is not going the way it's supposed to. Normally it pops in much more easily. So like the distraction here, and they suddenly realize they're like,
I believe I need to recalibrate. I apologize, Captain. Who is the king?
I think I pass out. I feel like that would be a lot for me. I don't think I would just be like, I'm fine.
No, I think you absolutely passed out. I think that's perfect. There's no answer to that.
yeah.
No.
Kai will try to catch her before she completely clocks her head.
Nyx is like crawling towards the both of them, just like, what is going on? Shit. Like, and just like looks at the captain, looks at Kai, looks at the captain. It's like, what just happened?
Captain.
What is going on?
The captain suffered an injury. I made it worse. Also, there is a king and he is rising.
I'd make a panic check, D20.
Everyone?
No, just you.
Oh boy.
You're low stress though, so.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. It's an 11
Okay.
of 3.
You hold it together just fine. Even though your captain is laying on the ground passed out with damage done to her skull by your own
I got you
hand.
at 2, Kai. There's something you... 3 stress?
Yeah, I'm at 3.
Yeah.
I was at like 5 and I came down.
Perfect.
I come rushing in from the
Humans
engines
are
again,
fragile.
and,
That's the first thing you hear. Humans are fragile. As you see Nyx getting closer to Petty, who's passed out on the ground.
What the hell is going on up here?
Lase,
What-
grab
what
her.
do we
Get
hit?
her to medbay now.
I'll just rush over and, yeah, just do that.
And then I look at Kai and I was like, we will talk about this later. Can you pick me up and carry me to medbay?
One moment.
And I want to very quickly just start the scanners to see if things, like if life signs are coming towards us and how quickly. And then I will pick up my human and take her to medbay.
What is the trajectory of the ship? Are we descending?
No, we
You're-
crash landed already.
You're on the
okay.
surface.
Okay, sorry. I thought that was for the harpoon. Okay.
Yep. Nope. You're on the surface. You are 1 kilometer away from the wreck of the perennial tyrant, and from the other direction, which is where the to the west, where the scrap heap is, there are 2 life forms on their way. They'll probably be there within 2 hours. You've got time.
All right. We need to get you all recovered. There are only 2 coming, but there are 2. We need to defend ourselves. They seem hostile.
We need to defend ourselves from ourselves. We're falling apart here. What's going on?
You two handle that. I'm gonna handle this.
I'm going to lean in and like put my thumb on Nyx's like eyelid and kind of lift it. Be like, "Are you all right? Were you concussed?"
I'm fine. I need to get Captain Petty stable. We need to not be attacked anymore.
I'm gonna look around in the med bay for pain pill or something to pop.
Okay. Yep. You
And
still
do
got
so.
plenty.
Okay. I will definitely take one of those. Which 1d10 health, lower stress by 1. Let's see how that goes. I'll take it.
All right. So, Nyx, you strap Captain Petty into the med bay table and begin to run a diagnostic, and definitely, I mean, massive damage to the skull, as well as a completely severed collarbone. You'll need to set that for sure.
Okay. Also freaking out.
Oh,
Before we
I love
leave.
it when Jen volunteers herself for panic
For a
checks.
panic check. Yep.
Nyx, you good? Are you good? You good? You got this?
I
Which
will
one?
tell you in 1 second.
T20, Jen.
Okay.
Nope.
4.
I think that's overwhelmed again.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a
roll-
medic.
Roll a d10 again. Great d10.
10. Second. Okay, it's it.
Okay, so for the next 8 minutes, all actions are at disadvantage. That will be great while you're working on Captain Petty. And also raise your minimum stress 1 more point.
Oh my god.
What are you at now? 4 or 5?
4.
Minimum? Okay.
As I am watching my human panic, I have been working on trying to make sense of how these things on the other ship replicated, if I can compare that to any of my chlorophyll botany research, as well as this dark matter. Has any of this come up with any way that will be feasible and or useful?
Absolutely. I mean, you're pretty certain that if you can harness the dark matter, that you could probably accelerate the healing process. You dare not try to really call it healing process, because the dark matter would have to infuse with the skull and the bone, adding alloys to it. But you're pretty sure you could replicate that.
Is this something I could attempt outside of doing it directly to Captain Petty and then experiment with, or must I do this on the captain after I've
You-
already damaged her?
you need a living specimen in order to test your theory.
I have been working on something that may help, but it is experimental. How
Well,
adventurous
we've got
are we
visitors to
feeling?
deal with, Kai.
It could improve all of our healing rapidly when we need it. If it works.
It will or it could.
If it works, it will.
At this point, I will try anything.
Is the captain? Oh wait, captain's passed out.
Captain's passed out.
Captain's passed out.
Because truth be told, I'm not a medic. I can do basics, but these scanners, this is more than my expertise. I mean, if she was a robot.
Deep breaths.
All right, I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is, if this works, you'll be able to reverse one of the wounds on Captain Petty. Bad news is, if it doesn't work, chat's gonna get to tell us what the hell happens. So chat, I hope you're paying attention and you're thinking about what dark matter would do to the human skull
Well,
if someone tried to apply entropy in reverse.
I will look at Lase, as I feel he is second in command with the captain out.
Can you guarantee that this will work?
No.
Then we're not doing it. We've got
No
visitors to
guarantees
take
in
care
science.
of.
There's
I
no
cannot-
guarantees in science.
Well, it doesn't matter right now.
I can
I'm here
attempt
to make sure that Captain finishes this job. I'm here to make sure that you, sis, get to go on your little science field trip and stay alive doing so.
I can
Let's
attempt
go see
traditional
the
I
medicine
don't
as
know
well.
if I can fix the captain.
I trust you can. You can set her up.
I can
Okay.
also attempt this.
I'll just,
It's technically Kai's the field medicine individual.
But there are no guarantees with that either.
Can we just get her stable for now? Because I can't fight. And if
Please.
those things come, we're done. I'm done.
I mean, I'll just go put on a smile and see if they want to come in for a cup of coffee.
Now do your dance, brother.
I assume they will want more than simply coffee.
We ain't got shit to offer them unless they want a bunch of dead bodies.
At this point, they can take them. That's fine. Take the dead bodies. I don't need them. What do we
They
need
will
them
want
for?
our parts from our ship. We will never leave this place if they come in.
Can we just fix the captain?
Do your thing.
Nyx, me or you? You deferring to me?
You. I
Okay,
am not
okay,
rolling
okay,
anything right
okay.
now.
That is a 32. My intellect is 51. My field medicine gives me an additional 15. So I am able to undo some of the damage I caused.
Yes. So the question is, did you attempt to
I
use
was
the
not
edge?
told. I was told to not experiment, to simply get the captain stable. If the captain wakes, perhaps I could ask if that is what she would like.
Okay. So you managed to deal with the collarbone. That is not going to be an ongoing issue for you, Petty. You don't get the wound back necessarily, but it will heal, and you can function.
A badass scar.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it's it's underneath, so
Got the lump,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little lump.
I like having little reminders of my adventures.
So the stimulants and the bone stitching begin to take effect. And within half an hour, the captain's eyes open. You got 40 minutes until those life signs reach. Roll a d10, Petty.
6.
So you recover 6 health, and you have advantage on strength and combat for the next 20 minutes. I'm just going to give you the maximum effect.
Kai will welcome the captain back to consciousness, apologize. I apparently do not know my own strength. Also, I may have something that will help you repair faster, but it is experimental. I was told to get you stable before attempting it. Would you like it?
What kind of magic are you dealing with, or science, or is it?
Let me add one wrinkle to you, Petunia. As you're coming around, as this conversation is happening, you take in your crew standing nearby. And the first sensation you have before your eyesight returns is a smell. Lilacs, the perfume of a lover that you've missed for some time. And then as your eyes focus, Nyx is the first person you see, as the endorphins are sort of interacting with you in that memory. But it isn't Nyx's name that sort of slips out of your mouth. It's Victoria.
So I guess like, so I'm coming to, and like I have this hit of lilac.
Yep. Yes.
So I think when I open my eyes and like I see her and I register that it's Nyx, but I say, Victoria. Oh, Victoria. And I kind of like put my hand to my mouth right away. Like I can't believe I kind of spat that out. And I get very embarrassed. Like I feel like I'm a little out of control, and that's not something that Petty enjoys at all.
And that's when Kai's question hits you about, do you want the experiment?
What kind of experiment? I'm no one's experiment.
You would not be the experiment. The healing is the experiment. It is a combination of all of my studies of field medicine, botany, chlorophyll structures, and dark matter. It would permanently improve your ability to heal.
Does everyone's face look really worried?
I'm not here.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
slightly
Lase
confused.
Okay.
You wouldn't be having this conversation if I was there.
Nyx Coly, wet blanket. Yeah, so I'm really out of sorts. I'm just really creeped out. Like I look at Kai and I say, don't worry about it, Kai. I shot Lase. I did some damage. He likes going around saying we always hurt the ones we love the most, so I guess I should take it as a compliment.
Again, I apologize.
Can it make me like stronger, or keep me out of harm's way? What exactly did you want to do? DM,
You're gonna have to tell me what I believe with all my research this would do. Sorry, Warden.
So no, that's fine. So the issue is that Petty's skull is cracked. So even though she could go about trying to function, you know that she's vulnerable. Another headshot of any kind could potentially lead to death. Not to mention the fact you're not sure what kind of recovery you're going to have if you're about to go into a combat situation.
Oh yes, I forgot to mention. 2 figures are coming. They will be here in 40 minutes. 59 minutes and 59 seconds.
If we could get you
39
combat
minutes.
ready, the sooner, the better.
Or you could stay here. I believe the 2 of us,
Looks pointedly at Nyx, like you were not coming.
could handle this. There are, after all, only 2 of them, and we know the ship.
This is a lot. So there's 2 life forms on their way to my ship right now.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I fit to fight? Am I all right?
Not right now, no.
Fuck.
You show her the scans of her skull and the cracks.
You have a cracked skull, and fighting now is not recommended because you could potentially still be concussed. So.
All right, Kai, listen. If I could be bionic, let me be bionic. I don't think we can do this with just 3 of you guys. You need somebody to help. I can't just leave you guys to suffer. I can't. How long is it going to take?
Warden, how long is this going to take?
Well, 20-minute treatment would be ideal, but you could do a lesser treatment.
If we've got 20 minutes, say there's 40 minutes until they get here.
Yes.
I lay back down and I try to make myself as comfortable as possible, but I'm just kind of like digging my fingernails, like what little fingernails I have. Like I keep them like super short because I'm always using my hands, but like I like dig them like into the sides of the bed and kind of just brace myself and say, you know, as long as I can be back in top shape by the time they get here, give you guys some backup. Fuck it, I guess I'm all in.
I will do my very best for you, Captain.
Give me a body save. I'll let you add military training because you probably had some other weird shit done to you over the years.
Yep. Target is 40.
I will keep an eye out for
65.
brother.
Excellent. So Nyx is looking down the hallway, trying to figure out what Lase is up to, when you hear the screams coming from the med bay directly behind you, as Petty is horrifyingly hit by dark matter, and her skull begins to stitch itself back together.
Kai, is that normal?
We are not doing anything normal to be able to compare it to.
Lie to me, please.
Yes, it is normal.
Thank you.
Kai, make a stress panic check here. You're gonna pass it, so it's ridiculous, but
I mean, don't roll a 1, don't roll 17.
okay. Yeah, so you are completely calm and composed as this
Humans
crazy.
are very loud. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Fantastic. So Candace, go ahead and restore 1 wound to yourself. Actually, no. You permanently receive 1 extra wound, so your maximum wounds are now 4. And instead of skull cracked, I want you to change it to reinforced dark matter skull.
Okay.
As a condition. And then we already had you make a body save, so you're good to go. All right, so 20 minutes later, Lase comes marching down the hall in his hazard suit, I'm sure, armed to the teeth, with an extra suit for Petty, probably.
I am assuming that my armor did not survive my death.
It did not. You're gonna need new armor. All right, Lase, you reach the med bay.
Hey, bro. How's it going? What you doing over there? With
It's all the racket.
The racket? What racket? There's no racket. What are you talking about?
There's plenty of racket.
What do you mean? Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe my music was up too loud. Maybe that's why I didn't hear anything. How'd you hear anything?
Petty?
So as you push past Nyx and get a good look at Petty, you can see that most of the hair on the back of her head is gone, replaced with a dark blue twisted steel alloy.
You
And Nyx is
tinkered
just
about, didn't you?
following him like everything's fine. She asked, she said consent was given.
Don't worry
That's
about
where
me,
I think
Coly.
I'm most disappointed.
I'm on the mend. Look at this hot shit. I kind of run my fingers over it. Say we got company coming?
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, we got company.
I kind of try to like shake it off as best I can and like just get out. Do I feel different, Warden?
Oh yeah. Definitely different. You feel great.
Okay.
In fact, those nagging concerns of fear They usually pull at you in your leadership position. You always have to push down. They're just not there.
Wow. Okay. So when I get up, I kind of like I'm kind of ginger at first, kind of getting down off of the bay, like off of the med bed. But when I get on my feet, like I feel really good, and I kind of plant myself really firmly on the ground, and just sort of like do a big stretch to try and like get myself back in order. I kind of clap Kai on the back and say, "Thanks a lot. Great job."
It is my pleasure. Thank you
And
for being my patient.
I look at Lase and I give him like a fist bump, and I kind of like am really playful. And then as I pass Nyx, like I grab her hand and like I twirl her around and say, "Hey, I'm in good shape. We're gonna be all right. Let's go see these guys." Who the fuck
What do you say
could
to
they be?
what do you say to your fifth member of the crew?
My fifth member of the crew.
Yeah. Standing next to them in a black suit and a yellow tie is your dad.
Okay, so I spin Nyx around, and I kind of like give her a little wink, and I'm like, "Hey, feeling good." And then I walk over to my dad and I say, "Look alive, sir." And I salute him.
She just does that to the air, to the rest of you.
Hi.
Nyx and Lase, sanity checks, please.
That is not ideal.
You think?
Why are you guys so upset?
All right, so
You pass,
Nyx makes the roll.
79 for me. Big fat fail.
Big fat fail. So take 4 points of stress there, Nyx Coly. As you've now seen your fearless leader that you've followed for so long is literally losing her mind.
Still fearless.
Oh, definitely fearless now. Detached, detethered from reality. Your dad looks at you and says, "Petunia, when they're here, remember, take them alive. They have information you need."
Good soldier follows orders.
What orders? Orders? Kai, what orders?
What? We're gonna meet these guys. We're gonna see what they want.
Who the fuck are you talking
We're gonna
to,
see
Petty?
what they want. We're gonna see what.
Who is
I said someone's coming. They gotta want something. They harpooned this vessel. I take that as a great insult.
Yeah, they want the vessel. I don't know why.
Captain, these are scavengers.
They're
I'm gonna walk off to my bunk.
Where
What's
are
wrong
you
with your brother?
going?
What's wrong with Coly? Did I miss something?
No, nothing's wrong with him just being his usual self whenever I need him to actually make decisions or do something important. Anyway, who are you talking to, by the way? Because there's no one there.
I'm talking to you guys. My crew.
Crew. Who's there? And she just points to like the space that
How's my dad?
your dad. That's your dad.
We are
That's your
back to this.
dad. Kai, what did we do?
I am unsure. However, we
Okay.
have 2 likely hostile individuals coming.
Right.
Perhaps we can deal with this after we
You deal with
them.
that. I'm gonna go to my thing and find stuff. Ugh, I can't believe this is happening right now.
Nyx, please do not fire your weapon if there is ever a friendly individual between you and your target. We will work on aim later when we have time.
Your dad says, "That goes double for me." She knows that, right? No shooting at me, right?
I mean, I would think that they would know, but I'll remind them if I need to. No friendly
Right.
fire, guys.
Friendly fire. Friendly. Okay, I can't.
Yes,
I can't.
Captain.
And Nyx just starts walking towards her lab.
Kai, I don't know what's gotten into everybody's ass tonight, but I'm real glad you saved me. I'm feeling much better, and flawless job. I mean, this whole thing is on nice and tight, so I'm ready to go intercept these assholes.
I do think it is lovely. However, I fear some things are malfunctioning. We will discuss it after we deal with the invaders. With your permission.
Your dad throws his arm around you, Petty, and says, "Don't worry about her. Come on. Let's go get these assholes."
Yeah, all right, I can, let's drop it for now. I'm sure it's nothing. Let's go see what this is all about. I can trust you're gonna be by my side?
I will not let anyone harm my humans, as you have seen.
All right, let's go kick some ass.
All right, Lase, you go to your quarters. What do you do?
Just stomp in there, door slam behind me, and just kick the bed. And I go over to little cubby and pull out a cigar, light that up, and next to it I pull out a wine cork, and I just stare at it, and I throw it across the fucking room.
What's written on the top of the wine cork? Is there like a symbol or a crest or anything? A word? A picture of a petunia?
A little simple outline of a flower, yes. And I just draw the fuck out of that cigar and begin to feel like I've failed. My sole purpose here is to get her to that vineyard. And I don't think it's gonna happen anymore.
Sounds like a panic check to me.
That it is.
Dice, love you guys. That's all I got to say.
Frightened.
So,
gain new condition, phobia, and when encountering, make a fear save at disadvantage or gain stress.
phobia is fear of losing Petty or fear of failing? Or something else. If you can think of something yummier.
I'll think on it, but probably
Okay.
You could mistrust
Failure,
the
yeah.
robot.
Okay. Chew on it a little bit. Any other preparations anybody wants to take? Like, do you want to go out and meet them? Do you want to set out, set up a position outside the ship? What's the plan?
Yeah, I'd personally like to go out and meet them. I don't want them coming anywhere near our ship. I would like to be probably a safe distance away so that we can make it back quickly if we need to. But definitely not, I don't want them coming like super close by where they could, pull more hijinks unexpectedly.
Captain.
I want,
Captain,
Kai?
I may be familiar to them. I am unsure if seeing me would unnerve them, but it might be worth a try.
You?
Yes.
You know them?
No, but they might know me.
And everybody's worried about me on the ship? I'm fine.
Of course you are.
So these people know you?
I am unsure if they do, but they may.
Well, I'm sure we'll know whether or not they've met you before within a couple of seconds of meeting them.
I would suggest that perhaps I meet them out front. You all can take up a potentially hidden position behind, and we can see if that gives us an advantage.
I like the way you think. It sounds good. I'll have your back. I'll flank you off off to the right a little bit. I'll see can I are we right out by the door at this point? I
Sure.
imagine we're walking through the ship talking.
Yep.
I try to kind of scan the area and see if there's anywhere that I can kind of crouch and cover so that Kai can intercept them first and I can have their back.
I kind of might even see if there's some debris or something I can stand on, so I'll be up high so they will see me well before.
Awesome.
Okay.
Should we go get Lase or just leave him to sit and stew?
If we do get Lase, I would request that you ask him not to shoot me.
I dial into to Lase through the communicator and say, "Hey, Coly, I know you needed a minute. You ready to join us, or are you sitting this one out?"
Yeah, I'll be up there soon.
All right, man.
Pop 2 more pain pills.
Okay.
And make my way up.
When he gets up there, I kind of brief him on what the plan is and give him a place to look as far as where he can go to kind of crouch so that we both are flanked left and right of Kai.
So, you guys get in position. Kai's up high. You use your visor to scan in, and you can see coming over the last dune, about 100 meters out, is 2 thin forms wrapped from head to toe in protective gear.
I am standing with my smart rifle in hand.
One of them's got a strange electric-looking backpack, some makeshift thing strapped to his back. In his hands, he's carrying a Les Paul standard cherry sunburst guitar. And he's just kind of absent-mindedly plucking at it. The other guy is shorter, fatter, but also wrapped in head to toe in protective gear. He's carrying 2 what look like axes, 1 in each hand, absentmindedly just sort of swinging at rocks and stuff as he walks behind the other guy. What do you do?
Would I have been able to reassemble the kukri after we finished? Because we cut away, but
Sure.
I've got the diagram now, I could reassemble it. So I would like to have the kukri on my hip, but visible and slightly turned that way so they could see it. But I'm just standing with my smart rifle, ready, not pointed, but ready, and would say, "Hello. I would ask that you stop your approach here."
The person in the lead just sort of slams their guitar, their backpack wailing as an overdriven amp sort of echoes. "Whatever you say, lady."
I am not a lady, but I appreciate the attempt at respect.
His fingers slam along the strings of the guitar, squealing. It's clearly obvious this person has no idea how to play guitar. His voice echoes out from the amp. "The moon is dead. Long live the planet. Can we chat?"
I would love to chat. You are from the Perennial Tyrant.
I was born there. Maybe.
Have you forgotten?
Kind of pulls his mask, and you can tell the youth glinting through his blue eye, which he only has one of. "I'm not even 18, lady."
What is yours?
They call me Dean.
Dean.
And the visor, or the HUD.
There was an exceptional musician from Earth named James Dean. Do you think perhaps you are related?
I got no idea.
It seems your people have harpooned our ship. We would have been happy to lift you off this moon, but now you seem to have taken aggressive actions. What are we to make of this?
Parley, lady. Shall we parley?
I am no lady, but I am happy to parley.
He sort of dances forward, shuffling his feet as he closes the distance, slinging the guitar behind his back, hands held high. Turns around and goes, Hank, put those axes away. These people are going to get us out of here.
It was an option, but now we are crashed.
You just need some repairs. We know where all the good stuff's at, don't we, Hank? The other guy goes,
Does Hank also appear to be a youth?
yeah, probably.
How many individuals are on your ship? I know there are approximately a dozen, but I would like to know how many live in the salvage.
It's a little more complicated than that, really.
I understand complications. Please elaborate.
All right. Up north is where the real colony is. The tyrant beggars, run by Malta. What you're seeing is Brecht, the scavenger, scrap piles. There's about a dozen of them, give or take. Might be 40 or 50 in Malta's colony up north. But they're hours away.
And you wish to save the few and forsake the many.
We gotta get to the planet to save everybody.
Are there more on the planet?
The moon is dead.
And you
Long
believe...
live the planet.
What leads you to believe that there is life on the planet?
He reaches in his back, pulls out a communicating device. I recorded a message. Broadcast. I play it for you. You decide for yourself.
I am listening.
How many you got in there?
Enough.
He slings the amp off his back, plugs the communicator into it, turns it up real loud. Hits play. You hear a woman's voice come through. This is Lance Corporal Victoria Bradley. Allow me to repeat, Queen Omni Supreme 9490. He pauses it. I'm not playing the rest until the rest of you are talking to me.
Well,
Petty, hold on 1 second. Petty, would you like to freak out now or later?
I'm gonna hold on as long as I can.
Okay. Go ahead, Guy.
well, that could be difficult. If we are speaking purely in numbers, there are upwards of 100 of us on this vessel, but not all can speak with you.
Curious. Very curious. All right, I'll play a little more. the woman's voice crackles through again. No one is going to hear this, so I'd make a confession. After we did the things in the forest, this almost seemed nice. Relaxing. No screams, no disputes, just rocks and fishing with all the water. The captain's convinced there's a big payday here. Some bomb, maybe some artifact to loot and get rich off of some antique dealers. He pauses it again. This was just a few days ago.
I have some experience with the artifacts on that planet. I can assure you, they bring only misery and pain.
All right, I'll play the rest. Cues it back up. It'll all be junk, though. That seems just like our luck. At least this place is too empty for us to have any hostiles. Captain can't see the wasteland for the total emptiness so still guard up. What's that saying the captain loves so much? The more hardship, the better? Well, at least the weather's nice. And this hardship had better pay off, because I didn't sign on for being stranded in the middle of nowhere. As I say, héros comme un poisson sur la paille. But half the unit forgot the comms code. Yet another exciting task. Yankee, Helios, Foxtrot, 9449, out.
Interesting. You have lived your entire life in this colony, yes?
Yeah,
And you wish to go to this planet because you have heard of nice weather and artifacts?
those are Marines. I've listened to that message 100 times already. Those are Marines down there. Armed to the teeth. We get everybody off this rock. We just gotta go there.
I do not think you will find what you wish there.
And Kai is kind of at this point waiting to see if they hear anything from the captain or Lase, and is just going to kind of keep the conversation going.
Now, Petty, you've heard that phrase before. You know it's slang from the Grand Army, Napoleonic days. Because Victoria used to say it all the time. After she joined up with the crew of the Defiance. Right before you broke up. What are you gonna do?
I'm like, the second that I hear her voice, I'm like immediately just kind of overcome. Especially having just kind of uttered her name just like moments ago. Like Petty is just kind of trying to process that she is all the way the fuck out here and still somehow can't ditch this terrible bitch that she really doesn't want to see again. We broke up for a reason, and yeah. But like the idea that there are like brothers and sisters on this planet, also like on the one hand, ex-girlfriend, but on the other hand, if they're armed to the teeth, then like, and I'm a Marine, like it stands to reason that they can keep my crew safe and that they can help us get on our way so that we can continue our mission. Now that I've lost some bodies, I know that I'm really just in the shit with my my connection in the Commonwealth.
But the real question is, what does her father think of the situation?
Yeah, I'm kind of going over it in my head. I don't know if my dad has things to say if he's sitting right next to me, hiding next to me.
Of course he's right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
what
I kind of look over at him and I'm like, can't escape. You'd think all the way out the fuck here in space, I wouldn't have to think about this girl, this woman, this thorn in my side.
Dad looks at you and
Petty,
says,
who are you talking to?
What? Shh. I don't want to break cover. Just,
Listen here, Dean. What are you after?
You reveal yourself?
Yeah, you're hidden. Do you pop out of cover?
Oh, sorry. No, I guess not.
Say,
Shit, you're getting
ooh.
off the pot.
Really quick. Knowing the amount of dark matter and how that can like distort time, does it seem completely logical that this really probably did come from a couple days ago, as he said, or do I know that with this much dark matter and this much high gravity pulling things in weird directions, that may be inaccurate?
You have yet to see any evidence that transmissions could be affected by this, and it actually doesn't make a lot of sense. It's more gravitational. But, you know, you need to examine the message to find out if it's fabrication.
Okay.
I admire your desire to save the many. We will need to examine the message. Again, I must ask, why did you harpoon us rather than simply reply?
I told you, that wasn't me.
Why did your people choose this course and then send you?
Well, technically, any ship that gets close enough, we just drag it down and scavenge the shit out of it. That's what the breakers do.
That is... what is the word? Rude.
I didn't know there was a crew on this ship. That's kind of interesting. How'd you...
We hailed you. We put out a transmission.
Oh, well... I doubt Brex is listening to that.
Brex, is that your leader?
He's the leader of the breakers. He's the guy that thinks that I work for him.
Who do you actually work for? Yourself or the Marines?
I work for the people of this colony. I'm going to lead them to a bright future on the planet. The moon is dead. Long live the planet.
I'm unsure if that is admirable or a very Dave thought. Either way, I do respect your desire to save your people.
And
permission to come aboard?
very long pause, because Kai is not the one who could grant that permission and is not sure what to do.
So I pick up on that hesitation and kind of like see them like glance, and I look over at Lase and I kind of nod, and I stand up with my my pulse rifle in my hands, and I look at Dean and his friend and I say, "Hey, why do you want to come aboard our ship so bad?"
And as the captain starts speaking to them, Kai is going to take that opportunity to turn slightly away and then communicate back to Nyx on the ship and say,
Please run an additional scan and ensure there are not life forms anywhere else around the ship.
Heard.
Thank you.
It's clear. Nobody else here. Just the three of you, an android, and the two of them. No fifth crew member.
You're talking about a parlay. Why don't you let me parlay with your leader? And where'd you get that audio from?
I captured it on my own broadcast. I got a bunch of cool shit.
And you say that's hitting up the surface down there, right, of the planet?
Yep, I can show you exactly where.
I kind of cautiously move a little closer, knowing that like Lase has still got my back, and I say, "Yeah, let me take a look."
Tells Hank to turn around, opens up a backpack, starts pulling out these maps, hand-drawn. Come over, have a look-see. And he pushes Hank away from the maps as he lays everything out, covering it with rocks.
I get close enough to look, but like not within like arm's length of this guy because I still don't trust him. He's acting real hinky.
Kai will still be up on the elevated position, like, and just kind of give the captain the look of like, I'm watching too.
All right, there's another 150 square kilometer area he's got drawings of on the planet's surface. He knows exactly where it is, on what continent, and there's all kinds of notes written in weird code.
Can I scan it with my communicator and like transmit it to Nyx?
Yeah. Nyx, you see a holographic representation sort of pop up of this thing. Not super high quality, but you can see it. It's a plateau. It's a plateau area of the planet. Bunch of notations on it.
I leave my comms like line open so she can hear everything that's going on up above. And I look at the guy and I say, yeah, it's a detailed map, all right. But you don't know what awaits down there, right? You know nothing about anything outside this moon you were born on, you said?
I was born on the ship. I grew up on the moon.
And how many of you are in your settlement? Won't they miss you if you leave?
We're coming back for them.
How?
We got to get down there. We got to make sure it's safe. We can fly your ship back up here. Get them all.
I don't know that I want to put my crew's life on the line. You're a scavenger. You mean to tell me there's no parts up here so you can fix your own goddamn ship? We can rendezvous together down at the surface if you want.
We got plenty of parts to fix a ship. We ain't got a ship. You got a ship.
I don't quite take kindly to strangers being aboard my vessel. My crew is important to me. And unfortunately, you're not really giving me the warm and fuzzies. What say we just head down there ourselves and keep an open line of communication with you guys up here. And if it's safe and there's a place for all y'all, then we can head back and bring you back down on our second trip. We do, after all, have a place to go, cargo that we need to drop off, so the sooner we can get out of this situation, the better.
What assurances do we have that you're going to A, communicate, and B, come back for us?
We're not heartless. We've encountered others that we've attempted to save on our way to the Commonwealth.
I am technically heartless.
You're going to the Commonwealth?
Trying to get there. As you can see, things aren't really going so well if we've ended up here talking to you.
You can see in his one blue eye, just a ton of information is being processed. His eye flicks back and forth. Look, Malta needs to be deposed. He's a crazy, insane leader. I can lead these people. If I'm not the hero that saves them, they won't follow me. I need a win here.
Your win is finding the crew that delivers you.
What kind of assurances can you make from me?
I can assure you that if what we find down there and your maps lead us to something that is an important discovery that can definitely serve our interests as well as yours, we'll be transparent with you. Been doing this for over 25 years, so you can trust me. I'm not somebody who likes to renege on promises.
You feel a tap on your shoulder.
Yep.
Look over the corner of your eye, see your dad standing there. Kill his friend. That'll send a message. Then he won't bargain with you anymore.
Yeah, but I also won't get what I want.
Earther rules. Petunia, remember the Earther rules.
Do I have a
So you
clear
guys-
shot?
Oh yeah, he's just standing right there.
Can I dial into Nyx? Can I dial into Kai without Captain, like while keeping the comms open and just let Nyx or Kai, why can't I speak today? Let Kai know that Captain is talking to somebody that's not talking back?
If anyone could do it, the hacker can do it, so I'll give it to you for free.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you, AskNap.
Thank you.
We just leveled up, boys and girls.
What?
Thank you so much.
Going to be so useful.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh!
That's exciting. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm gonna cry. I was not prepared to cry today.
You should be prepared to cry every night with
I know
this.
I should, but
Gosh, I could use that right now, but so I definitely heard the captain say, but that I won't get what I want. Captain?
Yeah.
Might I have a word with you? Lase, could you keep an eye on things?
What I've been doing.
Thank
Excuse
you.
us for a second, gentlemen. I need to confer with my associate.
Your dad walks over by Hank.
First off, does the plateau trigger anything in my brain? Any memories?
Make a sanity check.
Oh, this will be fun. Nope. That weird 21 of 33, so I pass.
You stagger a little bit for just a second, and your LEDs flick away from yellow on your HUD.
Back to
It's just
teal
sort of-
or a different color?
Back to teal.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, you're almost positive you've seen these maps before. Because part of the perennial tyrant went down there. In fact, you were down there.
So it would make sense that there were people down there still. Or do I have any idea?
You have no idea. It was a long time ago. If you're putting the math together, it was at least 14, 15 years ago.
All right. Captain, these are youths. They are clearly not skilled at negotiation, and they will be easily manipulated if we wish to do so. However, the maps are accurate. I do not know if people are down there, but the perennial tyrant did land there. I am unsure who the person you are speaking to, what the person you are speaking to is saying, but please exercise caution and kindness.
Yeah, kindness is a complete 180 from what my dad's telling me to do. I trust him, but
maybe can you send your dad back to the ship?
I don't think he's gonna want to go anywhere. He's over sitting next to that target right now. Or Hank, right now.
I am, Captain, I am uncomfortable with the fact that you referred to this individual as a target. I know humans do not have a self-diagnostic mode, but could you perhaps reflect on this?
So, Kai, since we know we're getting the level up, I'll let you make the psychology roll now, but it'll be at disadvantage.
Okay. Okay, so psychology will give me, my intellect is 15, psychology will give me 15 addition to that, so it's a 66. And the first one's a 67.
Roll again.
Want to see if I get that crit
Well, I
fail?
guess, yep.
Oh, that would have been an 80. Okay. Nope. It has not clicked in yet.
The captain is completely sane, rational, and acting within the confines of her power. In fact, according to the contract, once she designates someone a target, it's really just the crew's job to kill them. Fighting her on this is actually dereliction of duty, insubordination.
It is, of course, your call, Captain.
When Kai says the word kindness, that kind of like sits strangely in Petty's mind, and she starts to kind of get like alternating visions of like the times that she spent with her dad before she left Earth, like when she was still at home, and conversation she had with them there, and she's really torn about what to do next, because like she's seeing and hearing her dad like tell her things, and she trusts his judgment, but at the same time she also recognizes that work has been done on her body and her mind, and if she's getting a warning from Kai, who has been held accountable for their actions and wants to be held accountable for their actions, it kind of gives her pause for a second, and she says, "Listen, I've got to admit, I might be having a little feedback from this new upgrade that you gave me. You're saying
That is my fault. I apologize.
we should exercise kindness. Tell me, Kai, do we even need these yahoos? If you've got the map, can't we just go?"
They would help us more quickly scavenge parts. They would also be easily manipulated.
All right.
We can
Honey,
bring 2 of them unarmed onto our ship, with the assurances that we'll return for the rest. All they wish is an assurance. They seem young and gullible.
Copy that. I kind of step back and walk back over to the 2. And like I keep my weapon at my side. It's unholstered, but it's not pointed at anybody. And I say, "Hey, Dean, how about this as an assurance? You come, no weapons, no guitar, no amplifier, just you. Your assurance from me is that you get down there, and I'll bring you back, no problem. But I'm only taking one of you."
I can't take the Gita?
No.
The amplifier is causing feedback with my systems. It is unpleasant.
If anything goes crazy on this mission, you step out of line. You're not a good soldier. You come up against me and question my authority. We know where your friend is. And when we come back, neither of you guys will ever leave this planet again, this moon again.
All right.
Square?
All right. I'll go with you. Hank goes back. We'll get you the parts you need. And we're going to save some people.
Yeah, all right, hippie. Keep it together. And I extend my hand to give a handshake.
He extends his hand. That's when you get a really good look at it. His gloves have been stitched together. He's missing half his hand. It's been cut down. Missing eye, missing half his hand. And then you
Looks
look
like
over
you're,
at Hank.
Is he looking nasty too?
Yeah. In fact, you're pretty sure Hank doesn't really have arms at all. At least not past the elbow.
Y'all doing some kind of experimenting on each other? Never seen such wounds and modifications, if you could call it that. What's happening up here?
It's Malta. You gotta...
Malta.
The leader. You gotta contribute. My eye, half my hand. That's what's expected up here. Contribution.
Yeah, and where do those donated parts go? Somebody's gullet?
They go into the stew. Feed everybody.
I see.
I keep
The more
a
you
close eye on
give-
the humans.
The more you give, the more status you have. Hell, we even got an android named Calm. Calm's only got his head left. They ate the rest of him.
So what, this little squirt over here is some kind of goddamn royalty, no arms?
No, that's just Hank.
Kai
I hope you don't
smiles and says very loud, or says into the mic back to Nyx, "Eat the rich."
I did not mean literally. How did they eat an android? Very confused.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say. We don't eat people on my ship. You gonna be all right with that? Keep your teeth to yourself?
I don't want to eat people. Hell, there's some MREs right here in this here wreck.
Then who's the
Come
stew
out.
for?
I'm telling you, Malta's crazy. That's why we gotta save these people. We gotta get those Marines, get back here, stage a revolt. Free these people.
So you're saying we need to find some scrap, scavenge, and convince the Marines to join us on this rendezvous to come up here and rescue these people from some kind of maniacal invader?
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work. I think the best we could do is see if we can convince those Marines to help you out, bring you back up here, and head out from there ourselves. I'm sure they've got a ship down there.
Works for me. As long as I get to be the hero. They're gonna write so many songs. It's gonna be great. Right, Hank? So your dad's been sort of pacing around Hank this whole time. You see in his hand, he's been fiddling with your sidearm, Petty. And he starts pointing it at Hank's head. What's
Hank,
the
you're gonna
plan
want to get out of the way, Hank. You're gonna want to head on back. Quick now. We're not gonna have that showdown here today. And I look like meaningfully at my dad.
He looks at you and says, "Oh, Petunia. Arthur rules. Arthur rules." Make a sanity check, Petty. Disadvantage.
Sanity is 20 or 100?
D100. It's a save. Yep.
Cool. Sorry, I'm in the moment.
76? That's not good. All right.
Nope. And a 1, but I'm at disadvantage, so.
All right. So, Lase, you're standing there, and you see Petty's arm just like draw her sidearm and start pointing it at Hank. She's still saying the same thing she's saying, but she's pointing a gun at him. What do you do?
Captain,
What's up, Coly?
I think we're done here.
Yeah, I agree.
Holster your weapon.
My weapon. My weapon's away. I'm good.
Is it?
I mean, yeah, I'm watching. He's got
what is
it
going
pointed
on?
right at Hank. I'm telling you, hey, we're not doing this today, man. Dad, we're not. Put it away.
I think
I
I
make-
broke the captain.
make the Make the panic check there, Petty. Fail, you shoot him.
9.
How much stress you got?
11.
I
to
have
fail.
6 stress.
You got 6?
Yeah, because I wore some off earlier.
Oh, that's right.
I had 11
All
and
right.
I got 5 off.
Okay.
All right, so you realize you're the one holding your sidearm, and Lase is actually telling the truth.
I'm
Do you
horrified.
hold?
I'm
do you holster-
horrified. I try to like keep it together because we've got strangers among us. So I just kind of holster it and I say, "Good call, Coly. Good call. Why don't you run along there, Hank? Dean, mind yourself. Nyx, I'm gonna
Hank
need to
takes Dean's
chat with you.
stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I will assist with putting the amp on Hank, who has no arms.
Yep. Only takes a few minutes, and Hank's trotting his way towards the scrap heap.
Hank? Or, I'm sorry, not Hank. Dean?
Yeah.
There is stress. I'm sure you are familiar with this. It is a human thing. My humans have suffered from some of this. Please do not make it worse, or I will be unkind.
All right.
If you would like to actually learn music, I could perhaps try and teach you. It is mathematical. And then I'll help lead him to the ship.
All right. He kind of follows. He's like, I'm gonna learn music. Oh yeah. All right. We'll cut to you guys, Lase and Petty.
I'm kind of just there. My eyes are a little bit glazed over. I have my hands kind of up away from my weapon at my side that's in the holster. And I'm kind of just like rubbing my hands together anxiously. I'm not used to not being able to trust myself. I am the one person I can always trust. So the idea that I am seeing and hearing and are being haunted by things, not in a good place.
I told her not to do it. I didn't think you'd be stupid enough to go through it yourself.
Hey man, I had a fractured skull. I needed to be there for you guys.
We
I
got
had no
it.
choice.
You did have a choice.
No, I didn't. What would have happened? What would have happened if they came over here blowing up? Guns blazing.
Well, we're doing plenty worse ourselves to each other. That wasn't what happened, was it? You
Can
just came
y'all
over
do
to
this
sing
at another
campfire
time?
songs.
I don't want to be alone in the ship with this guy.
Is he in yet? What's our layout?
Yeah. So, well, Kai, you can lead him to a whole different part of the ship. I mean,
Yes.
you guys don't have to let him into where the command quarters are.
Yeah.
In fact, honestly, you can put him in with the dead people. It's not like.
I would like to potentially find a place with a cot so he can actually have a bed, which it seems like he has not experienced in a while. But I would also lock him in.
Okay. Yeah. He's not easy. He's not hard to trick. You get him situated, give him a stack of MREs. He starts eating. You lock him in. So
We
you
will be
guys can
back.
head back up to the bridge.
I go down to, I don't even go to the bridge. Like, we enter the ship and I immediately go see Nyx. I say, Cole, you can come if you want to. I gotta get right before we keep going.
I think you need to block your weapons up.
You don't trust me with a weapon?
No, I don't. Not right now. I don't
So
think
what,
you
you're
trust
in charge?
yourself. No, I'm
You're
not.
in charge then?
I'm not in charge. You're in charge. But I'm offering a suggestion.
All right, let's hear it.
I just gave it.
Lock up my weapons. Well, I want everybody to feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, imagine Nyx won't feel safe.
Done
Listen,
enough
if you-
shooting each other as it is.
If you think this is for the best, I'll do it. I've always got hand to hand, but I need you to know if something bad happens, I need to make that right choice for both of us.
Are you that worried about some hippie?
I'm much more worried about what's gonna find us or what we'll find when we hit up that planet down there.
And that's fine. We can reevaluate at that time.
All right, Coly. I know you have my best interest at heart. You've always been right there with me, so... And I kind of unstrap all my firearms and stuff, and I hand them over before going to see Nyx. Like, I can barely kind of bring myself to, like, look him in the eye, though. I'm really out of sorts.
Let's pause the petty Nyx conversation and deflect it to afterwards, since we need to wrap up a couple of things. So you are able to use Dean's information and get parts from the Perennial Tyrant to fully repair the engines. And within a few hours, you're able to launch off of the moon. Lost some cargo, but quite honestly, you have fully functioning engines now. Now, all that remains is figuring out those jump drives, heading to the planet, finding a way home. And as the ship disembarks from the moon, a second broadcast comes across from the planet. You're all on the bridge when it comes through. Salt, Echo Queen, 13093, ready, 65 Parasol, Octung, 03246, 16. This is Lance Corporal Victoria Bradley. Fire Teams Archipelago Desperado, July Octung. We crushed those bastards, but an empty building apparently has 3 fire teams down. You expect me to believe this? This stupid prank? Well, if this is the time you hear the sound of a round being racked into a gun, I have no choice. Maybe I'll finally understand how there is freedom in living as if one has already died. This is Lance Corporal Victoria Bradley. It's been a pleasure to serve. Static. It's going to be 3 days for you to reach the planet. You got 3 days to prepare to find a way out of the dead planet. That's where we're going to wrap our mid scenario.
Ridiculous.
You're the worst. You're the worst sometimes.
Who, me?
I think that was aimed at me, Todd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Well. Chat, thank you so much. Asnap, thank you for the $70 donation to get us to our skill advancement. When we do our introductions here, everyone, tell us what we've leveled up with. Tell us what we've won. Warden, we'll start with you, though. Say hello. Tell everyone who you are.
So again, I'm the Warden. I am on the Mothership Discord under ThatOldDM and a few other places. The Twitter handle is at iCrusaderBlog. Going by the name ThatOldDM, you can find me there. We just wrapped our Deadlands game last Thursday. Thank you, Todd, for that amazing 27 sessions of miraculousness. So you can find me a little bit around here for that game. That's about it.
All right. Thank you so much for narrating our story. Let's go down to Jen. Say hello.
Oh, I'm second. Okay. Hello. I'm Jen. I play Nyx, your neighborhood terrified scientist. And you can find me on the internet at JennGeeky or Jen the Geeky Writer. I am also Youngles on Twitch, and a talent manager over at Tyrus TV. So that's what I do.
Good stuff. What skill are you gaining?
Right. I'm gaining industrial equipment.
Okay.
So I can take apart your ship and use it to fulfill my android needs. Love you, bro.
Fantastic. Kai. Kay.
Hey, Kai, doesn't matter. Hi, I'm Kay Purcell. I'm a community manager by day. By night, I do all sorts of geeky things, especially around tabletop. Mondays, I stream Pokemon, and Tuesdays, you can find me at Damphyr, where I stream TTRPGs, either talk shows or actual plays. I had a lot of fun. I finally heard someone. It's great. It's my turn. Finally. You can find me Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok at Damphyr. And Kai now has psychology, so she can try and understand the humans a little more.
Just for the record, I'm the only one remaining that has not hurt a crew member here. So
I have also been far more effective in combat than you. Please keep in mind.
Hot like fire.
I'm still not hurting our own crew.
I like how laid back Lase is no longer so laid back.
No. Candace, say hello.
Hi, everybody. CandaceTheMagnificent playing Captain Petty Williams. Very, very nerve-wracking. I'm really hoping that I don't murder everybody. It'd be really great if this didn't end with me like on the dead planet with bodies all around me, but who knows? You can find me on Discord as well as Twitter at ThatCandaceGirl, Candace with an A. And then you can also find me YouTube and Instagram, and I guess Reddit too, probably, at CandaceTheMagnificent. You can also see me at the Barely Bookish podcast, wherever you get your pods. There's actually something going on right now where we're discussing Octavia Butler's Kindred. You can also find me on old episodes of Dungeon Jedi Masters Theater under Scattered Choices. I play Tula Batunde. And upcoming next month, you can find me at Valor Studios production of Tales of Valor, Red Sky, Dark Sun. And that'll be going live next month on Twitch.
Fantastic. Thank you as well. Did you tell us your skill you were
Oh, that's
gaining?
right. So the captain is learning wilderness survival, and apparently not a moment too soon.
Very nice. Very appropriate. Awesome. All right, I have been Todd Moonbounce playing Nyx Coly. Yes, once laid back, probably no longer. I will be gaining firearms, which I think is appropriate because I'm not allowing Captain to touch them anymore, most likely. So we'll see how that goes, though. I'm sure there will be some resistance. You can find me here, of course, and on Twitter at Todd Moonbounce. Yeah, a few shows have wrapped up, but I'm looking forward to new things. I have, this Sunday, this Friday, with Kay will be joining me for an amazing one-shot of a game called iToaster, essentially a tabletop inspired by the Brave Little Toaster, a childhood favorite of mine. So this will be fantastic. We'll have these individuals.
I'll be playing Game Bob, the vintage handheld gaming system. So y'all come on by.
These 4 discarded appliances will be fighting for to be chosen once again at the thrift shop before they are sent off to the scrapyard. So come hang out with us this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here. Otherwise, give me a follow on Twitter. I'm always looking for new players and fantastic games, so keep an eye out for those LFGs. Once again, thank you just for hanging out with us. This was fantastic. Thanks for all the subs and the donations and everything like that. Appreciate it very much. And with that, we'll see you back here next Sunday. Warden, I know you will be gone, so if you can, give us a little quick heads up on what we'll be doing next week.
So there's going to be a set of questions for each character to deal with during the 3-day journey to the Dead Planet. So this is going to be done love letter style. So I will be writing and revealing them to the crew one at a time during the episode next week. In addition, Todd, hopefully we'll be able to talk about the impressions, what we think about the system, what we think about the story so far, the characters, share some camaraderie. I'll try to join in the chat, but I'll be traveling, and so I will not be able to be on video and audio for it. But this is going to be a nice little break for everyone, and it's going to showcase some story development pieces and set up the second half of our set of Dead Planet where we get into the Dead Planet proper.
Absolutely. Very much looking forward to it. So, yeah, come hang out with us tomorrow. It'll be a little bit different, but looking forward to that chat. And then, as Warden said, we'll be back the following week. So, all right. Thank you all so very much. Have a great week. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
chat.
Thank
Killer
you.
awesome.